भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासां ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो नलिननेत्राय वेणुवाद्यविनोदिने राधाधरसुधापानशालिने वनमालिने। महाभावस्वरूपास्त्वं कृष्णप्रिया वरीयसी प्रेमभक्तिप्रदे देवी श्रीराधिका त्वं नमोऽस्तुते। So we'll continue reading from Canto 2, Chapter 4 and text number 18, where the glories of hearing about the Lord as explained by Shukadeva Goswami. And this verse can be understood by seeing our own preaching movement. How this Krishna consciousness has been accepted by people all over the world, and how even the 5,000 years back Shukadeva Goswami has predicted about that. If someone takes shelter of the glories of their lordship, then what happens? So categorically he says, Kirat Hunandrandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumbhaya Vanaha Kasadaya Ye Anne Cha Papa Yadapashraya Shrayaha Shuddhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Kirat, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumbha, Yavana, members of the Khasa races and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Due to His being the supreme power, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto Him. Purport by His loving divine grace. Kirata, that means a province of old Bharatavarsha mentioned in Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. Generally, the Kiratas are known as the aboriginal tribes of India, and in modern days the central Paragnas in Bihar and Chota Nagpur might comprise the old province named Kirat. Huna, the area of East Germany and part of Russia is known as the province of the Hunas. Accordingly, sometimes a kind of a hill tribe is known as Hunas. Andhra, a province in South India, in southern India, mentioned in the Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. It is still extant under the same name. Pulinda, it is mentioned in the Mahabharata Adi Parva, 174 chapter, text number 38. The inhabitants of the province of the name Pulinda. This country was conquered by Bhishma Sen and Sahadev. The Greeks are known as Pulins, and it is mentioned in the Vana Parva of Mahabharata that the non-Vedic race of this part of the world would rule over the world. This Pulinda province was also one of the provinces of Bharata, and the inhabitants were classified amongst the Kshatriya kings. But later, due to their giving up the Brahminical culture, they were mentioned as Amlechas, just as those who are not followers of Islamic culture are called Kafirs, and those who are not followers of the Christian cultures are called Heathens. Abhira. This name is also appears in Mahabharata, both in Sabha Parva and Bhishma Parva. It is mentioned that this province was situated on the river Saraswati in Sindh. The modern Sindh province primarily extended on the other side of the Arabian Sea, and all the inhabitants of that province were known as the Abhirs. They were under the domination of Maharaj Yudhishthira, and according to these statements of Markandeya, the Mlechas of this part of the world would rule over Bharata. Later on, this proved to be true, as in the case of the Pulins. On behalf of the Pulins, Alexander the Great conquered India, and on behalf of the Abhirs, Muhammad Ghori conquered India. These Abhirs were also formerly Kshatriyas within the Brahminical culture, but they gave up the connection. The Kshatriyas who were afraid of Parshuram and had hidden themselves in the Caucasian hills regions later on became known as the Abhirs, and the places they inhabited is known as Abhira Desha. Shumbhas or Kankas, the inhabitants of Kanka province of old Bharat mentioned in the Mahabharata. Yavans. Yavan was the name of one of the sons of Maharaj Yayati, who was given the part of the world known as Turkey to rule. Therefore, the Turks are Yavanas due to being descendants of Maharaj Yavan. The Yavans were therefore Kshatriyas, and later on, by giving up the Brahminical culture, they become Mlecha Yavans. Descriptions of the Yavans are in the Mahabharata Adi Parva, chapter 85, text number 34. Another prince called Turbasu was also known as a Yavan, and his country was conquered by Sahadev, one of the Pandavas. The western Yavan joined with Duryodhana in the battle of Kurukshetra under the pressure of Karna. It is also foretold that these Yavanas also would conquer India, and it proved to be true. Khasa. The inhabitants of the Khasa Desha are mentioned in Mahabharata Drona Parva. Those who have stunted growth of hair on the upper lips are generally called Khasas. As such, the Khasa are the Mongolians, the Chinese, and others who are so designated. The above mentioned historical names are different nations of the world. Even those who are constantly engaged in sinful acts are all corrigible to the standard of perfect human beings if they take shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Jesus Christ and Muhammad, two powerful devotees of the Lord, have done tremendous service on behalf of the Lord on the surface of the globe. And from the version of Srila Shukadeva Goswami, it appears that instead of running a godless civilization in the present context of the world situation, if the leadership of the world affairs is entrusted to the devotees of the Lord, for which a worldwide organization under the name and style of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness has already been started, then by the grace of the Almighty Lord, there can be a true change of heart in human beings all over the world, because the devotees of the Lord are able to authorities to effect such a change by purifying the dust-worn minds of the people in general. The politicians of the world may remain in their respective position because the pure devotees of the Lord are not interested in political leadership or diplomatic implications. The devotees are interested only in seeing that the people in general are not misguided by political propaganda, and in seeing that the valuable life of a human being is not spoiled in following a type of a civilization which is ultimately doomed. If the politicians, therefore, would be guided by the good counsel of the devotees, then certainly there would be a great change in the world situation by the purifying propaganda of the devotees. As shown by Lord Chaitanya, as Shukadeva Goswami began his prayer by discussing the word Yat Kirtanam, so also Lord Chaitanya recommended that simply by glorifying the Lord's holy name, a tremendous change of heart can take place, by which the complete misunderstanding between the human nations created by politicians can at once be extinguished. And after the extinction of the fire of misunderstanding, other profits will follow. The destination is to go back home, back to Godhead, as we have several times discussed in these pages. According to the cult of devotion, generally known as the Vaishnava cult, there is no bar against anyone's advancing in the matter of God realization. A Vaishnava is powerful enough to turn into a Vaishnava even the Kirat, etc., as above mentioned. In Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, text number 32, it is said by the Lord, that there is no bar to becoming a devotee of the Lord, even for those who are low-born or women, Shudras or Vaishyas. And by becoming a devotee, everyone is eligible to return home back to Godhead. The only qualification is that one take shelter of a pure devotee of the Lord, who has thorough knowledge in the transcendental science of Krishna, that is Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone from any part of the world who becomes well conversant in the science of Krishna becomes a pure devotee and spiritual master for the general mass of people, and reclaim them by purification of heart. Though a person be even the most sinful, he can at once be purified by systematic contact with a pure Vaishnava. A Vaishnava, therefore, can accept a bona fide disciple from any part of the world without any consideration of caste and creed, and promote him by regulative principles to the status of a pure Vaishnava, who is transcendental to the Brahminical culture. The system of caste or Varnashrama dharma is no longer regular even amongst the so-called followers of the systems. Nor is it now possible to re-establish the institutional function in the present context of the social, political and economic revolution. Without any reference to the particular custom of a country, one can be accepted to the Vaishnava cult spiritually. And there is no hindrance in the transcendental process. So by the order of the Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the cult of Srimad Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita can be preached all over the world. reclaiming all persons willing to accept the transcendental cult. Such a cultural propaganda by the devotees will certainly be accepted by all persons who are reasonable and inquisitive, without any particular bias for the custom of the country. The Vaishnava never accepts another Vaishnava on the basis of birthright, just as he never thinks of the deities of the Lord in a temple as an idol. And to remove all the doubts in this connection, Srila Shukadeva Goswami has invoked the blessings of the Lord, who is all-powerful. Prabha Vishnave Namaha. As the all-powerful Lord accepts the humble service of his devotees in devotional activities of the Archana, his form as the worshipable deity in the temple. Similarly, the body of a pure Vaishnava changes transcendentally at once when he gives himself up to the service of the Lord and is trained by a qualified Vaishnava. The injunction of a Vaishnava regulation in this connection runs as follows. Archaya Vishnu Shiladhir Gurushu Naramatir Vaishnave Shaktir Buddhi Shri Vishnor Namni Shabda Samanya Buddhi. One should not consider the deity of the Lord as worshipped in the temple to be an idol, nor should one consider the authorized spiritual master as an ordinary man, nor should one consider a pure Vaishnava to belong to a particular caste, etc. That's explained in Padma Puran. The conclusion is that the Lord, being all-powerful, can under any and every circumstances accept anyone from any part of the world, either personally or through his bona fide manifestation as the spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya accepted many devotees from communities other than the Varnashramites, and he himself declared to teach us that he does not belong to any caste or social order of a life, but that he is the eternal servant of the Lord, who maintains the damsels of Vrindavana, Lord Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 13, text number 80. Which shloka? Naham vipro nachavatiru, napi vaishona shudro. So, who am I? Gopir Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa, Dasanu Dasa. And Prabhupada says that is the way of self-realization. In present context, this verse need to be understood properly, which will really gives us a seriousness to follow this process of devotion to Supreme Personality of a Godhead. As explained by Prabhupada here, in modern context, economically, politically, and socially also, it's not that easy to establish the Varnashrama Dharma. Then what can be done? How to work on that particular aspect? Because most of the time we say that only a Varnashram Dharma can work. But to establish that Varnashram system, you need to follow the Vedic scriptures. And as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in previous chapters, that people in this age of Prayana Alpayushaha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrataha. Because of these four qualities, it's not possible to follow the Vedic injunction as it is. Because everything starts with the Garbhadhan Sanskar. Because what you are thinking about, that sort of a soul is going to get conceived. Nowadays, by chance they get pregnant. It's not that they perform some ritual, some vrata, and they invoke auspiciousness so that the auspicious soul can get attracted and he can take shelter of that womb. But by mistake, it happens. So someone's cause of birth is by mistake. So what you can expect from that soul? What he is going to do? Only mistake throughout the life. Why there is a chaos in the whole universe? It's because of that only. But that's not possible right now to establish all these things. As much as you can stick them and follow them. But what is most important thing is taking association of devotees. And that's what ahaituki kripa. Most of the time we think, oh, it may be my pious credit in previous life that brought me in Krishna consciousness. Forget. It's not possible. Bhrigu Samhita clearly says that almost 90-95% people who are born in this age of Akali, like after Yudhishthira Maharaja's departure, 95% are all sinful living entities who have taken human form. And everyone has, like they are called as a Papa Shreya. They have accepted the sinful life, and that's what we see. The way the things are working in political way, whether you are or you are not, directly or indirectly you are involved in sinful activities. For example, when you pay taxes, that money goes to government, and government uses that money for slaughterhouses. So indirectly you are becoming a part of that chain, and you are becoming Gohatyara. So once if someone kills the cow, it said like Bhavishwata Purana, it explains who was this Akbar. In his previous life he was the disciple of Shankaracharya. And once while drinking a milk, he drank a milk with the hair of cow. So next birth he became a Mlecha and born as Akbar. By mistake he swallowed that hair. So he has to become a Mlecha. Then what to speak of a people who had eaten the cow meat? What's going to happen to them? Garuda Puran says that for millions of years they get roasted in the Kumbhipaka. And right now, all over the world, all the political leaders, they are forcing people to commit sin. If someone is a pious, like this Hamish community, they are trying to destroy them now. They don't want them. Why? Because they are living so simple, which is totally against the corporate culture. So they wanted to demolish them. This is what's demonic. As they want that one governs, what's that theory? What they call? Huh? The whole world will be governed by one particular power. And what's that? Huh? Not monarchy. The one particular world is there. It's going on, you know. The group of industrialists, they wanted to one world order. That's what they called. And that's what they want. And if someone has a faith in the God, that is not acceptable for them. Because they want their supremacy. So in that situation, how is it possible that people will become pious? But there is a hope. And what is that hope? Bhagavata Dharma. We were reading that Prabhupada song, Markine Bhagavata Dharma. When he came here, he was praying to the Lord, my Lord, where you have brought me? Are they receptive to accept this? Tatha rajostamo bhava kamalobhava. They are totally drenched in the mode of ignorance and passion. How they can accept this message? But because it was desire of his spiritual master, it was desire of his spiritual master, they wanted to preach this message to each and everyone. So Lord became merciful and gave him empowerment. Can you imagine at the age of 70, someone is writing such a voluminous books like this? To read, even though we call ourselves as so much educated and highly influenced people, but we don't have time to read them now. But he wrote them within the 10 years. Can you imagine? He traveled all over the world 14 times. Is that possible for any common human being? It's only empowered personalities can do that. And that's what we can see. And because of his mercy now we can see people who are born from such a low, out of caste system actually, who are full of, whose life is full of sins, like Harishwari Prabhu was once explaining that when he was in the mother's womb, his grandmother told her mother that she should abort this child. And he said, from our womb itself we are sinners, because our body was made up of what our mothers ate, and they never ate vegetarian food. They had all this sinful food on them. But still, because they came in contact with the devotees, and as Prabhupada mentioned here, that those devotees who have given their lives for propagation of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, they have changed. So if you really want to bring peace in present situation in the society, then Prabhupada says there is only one way, and that is accepting this Vaishnava cult. And Prabhupada said for that purpose only this institute, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, has been established. So please take advantage of that, because these are not his words. This is what 5,000 years back Shukdev Goswami has explained. Yadapapa Shraya Shraya. Someone who has taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, if someone takes association of that person, Shuddhyanti, they will get purified. And we have a great examples of that. We have many, most of our sannyasis, they were not from Brahmin class. They were not Brahmin, they were not born in a proper Varnashrama system. But because they have dedicated their lives to the orders of their spiritual master. Even Prabhupada, he was not born from a Brahmina family, but he took shelter at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava who was pure. And that has empowered him to preach all over the world. And it had changed millions of people's life. So this Bhagavad culture does not have any restriction. Anyone can come and take shelter of the Lord. There is no restriction. No need to born in particular caste, creed, or particular location or nation. No need. Only one need is there. And that is, Rupa Goswami says, Laulyam. You should be desperately seeking for the shelter of their Lordship. And that's what's going to save you. Nothing else. And we should thank to Srila Prabhupada that he has given us this opportunity. If he would have not come to US, he would have not have started this institute, where would we have been? Do you think this day we will be discussing this, Srimad Bhagavatam? At least not me. That for sure. It's his mercy that worthless person can purify himself and come to the stage that he can speak about the Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.